Hi, I'm Catherine LaCour, and I am Blackbaud's Chief Marketing Officer, and I am so pleased to be here at Nasdaq Market Site with a very special panel to talk about the power of generosity and shine a spotlight in this very important day of Giving Tuesday. So before we get started, let me do a few introductions. So first, we have Susan Carter. Susan is the Senior Vice President of Philanthropic Engagement at Breakthrough T1D. Welcome. Danny Whitman, Executive Director of Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
Jailan Griffiths, President of Nasdaq Foundation and Head of Purpose at Nasdaq. Thank you for hosting us.
Pleasure. Love it to have you all.
Thank you. And my colleague, Dale Strange, who is President of Blackbaud's Corporate Impact Vertical. So welcome. Thank y'all for joining. Let's just dive into the conversation and let's start talking about why we're all here today, Giving Tuesday. So why do you believe that Giving Tuesday has become such a pivotal moment for nonprofits and companies alike? So Dale, let's start with you. Blackbaud obviously has a unique perspective given our kind of view across the social impact industry.
Yeah, I mean, this is such an incredible time of year, and it's wonderful to be panelists with this amazing group. I think Giving Tuesday is special for so many reasons. One of the reasons is if you're a nonprofit, this is sort of the time of year where most nonprofits get most of their support. A third of giving happens in the last 3 months of the year. So Giving Tuesday is a wonderful way to shepherd in the end of year. Also, from a numbers perspective, it's an incredible opportunity to attract new donors and supporters. 16% of those who give on Giving Tuesday are new to the organizations that they support. So that's a wonderful opportunity for nonprofits to gain support. And another fun fact, when they do give, they continue to go on to support that nonprofit at higher rates than other times of the year when they might give. So that's special too. And the last thing that I'll say is for purpose-driven companies that are out there, it's a wonderful time to demonstrate the values of these purpose-driven organizations, to rally employees who want to be involved. Our workforce is changing, and Gen Z, younger workers, are increasingly making up a larger portion of our workforce. 89% of Gen Z participate in workplace giving programs. 92% of them participate in volunteerism. And this is just a great way to celebrate them and all the amazing work that the social good community does.
Great. Yeah. Danny, what about you? What is your perspective as a nonprofit leader?
People are going through so much right now. People are feeling more polarized and confused and angry about a variety of issues. And I think that Giving Tuesday gives us all an opportunity to channel that frustration and desire to do good, to make a difference. It gives us a platform, all of these organizations, an opportunity. And for the person at home who's been wondering for weeks, for months, what really can I do? At Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS, they know that they can make a donation and that will turn into a meal or medication or a visit to a doctor. And that feels, in this confusing, lost world, refreshing and offering them hope.
That real impact that they can see is so important. And we know that generosity drives, doesn't just strengthen communities, but it can drive like volunteering and civic participation. So in seeing that direct impact, I think does increase participation. What about you, Susan? From your perspective, how does Giving Tuesday, drive the strategy of Breakthrough T1D?
Of course. Well, Giving Tuesday is so critical. And, in the past, it was all about a sense of community and belonging, right? Everyone wants to be part of a winning team, wants to come together and do something for the greater good. And you've raised such an important point about the diversity of thought and confusion in the world today. Yet the power of Giving Tuesday is still there, bringing us together. Though we may have different causes that we choose to champion, we're still taking a shared and collective action.
Love that. That ripple effect is really important. So Jailan, you have a really unique perspective because you're both a CSR leader, but you're also connected with many different companies, given that you're here at Nasdaq. So how do you see Giving Tuesday as a moment in this giving season for companies?
I think it's a great catalyst for engagement. I think, especially when you look at the timing of it, it really, and the weekend we've all just had in the US particularly, it flips the switch narrative from consumption, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, to generosity. And that's the mindset I think that goes through many of our employees. And as Dale said, it really is a time when many nonprofits really use this Giving Tuesday as a launch pad to their year-end fundraising. So to be able to communicate with our employees and our partners to say, how can we help you do this? And let's lean into some of the causes that really matter, both on a global scale that Nasdaq has, but at that local, regional community level as well that matters to so many people. And it's a great springboard for that.
I love that. Let's keep going on that. Talk about generosity, because you mentioned this is really kicks off the season of generosity. So how do you encourage generosity with your employees, both with employee giving and volunteering, both during this year and year round?
Sure. So I think so. We have a program, we call it Purpose at Work, which ties into the group that my team and I work on. So Purpose at Work really we have matching programs. So throughout the year, we make sure that we are kind of finding nonprofits that are regionally and culturally focused and surfacing those to our employees around the globe. And so Giving Tuesday then allows us to kind of amplify that impact with potentially a double matching program in addition to what we do year round. And then we have an amazing culture of volunteering at Nasdaq. Throughout the year, we have moments we call Month of Impact in April. We have Purpose Week in September. And those are moments we really help our employees understand the role that purpose plays, what they do at work and what they do in their communities. And on those times, as well as throughout the year and other efforts, we find ways to help them match what matters to them with what matters to their communities, with what matters to Nasdaq. And so we really try and nurture that throughout the year and find those key moments throughout the year too to just supercharge some of it.
That's amazing. And I'm sure that leads to more engaged employees for Nasdaq as well.
100%. It really does.
That's really exciting. So Danny and Susan, as we know, this time of year is so important for nonprofit fundraising. You talked about that. What strategies do your organization use to stand out and engage donors during what is a crowded end of year giving season when there's a lot of competition for both attention and wallets, right? So Susan, start with you.
Yeah, thank you. We focus into 3 areas, and the first is momentum. And I'm going to go back to November for a moment to give momentum some context. November is National Diabetes Awareness Month. So Breakthrough T1D is coming off of an awareness campaign. Through our T1D campaign, we shared facts about type 1 diabetes, and we showed our mission in action. So taking the momentum and pulling that into Giving Tuesday is really important for us. We come off of all of that awareness. We come into Giving Tuesday, and we're able to then focus in on storytelling, which is the second key to our strategy. We take the stories that we featured in that T1D campaign, and we really tell the impact of our mission progress and our advocacy progress through lives that have been changed through our breakthroughs. And then we highlight the promise of the future. We highlight what's ahead for research and advocacy, and we can only get there through the generosity of supporters that really make a difference in Giving Tuesday. And then our third area of focus are match campaigns, because match campaigns and Giving Tuesday, they're just really made to go together, right? We are so fortunate to have donors that will provide funds that will match what we raise Giving Tuesday. And sometimes that's a 2X match, a 3X match, or for something as special as Giving Tuesday, maybe even a 5X match.
I love the storytelling perspective too. You really give potentially new donors and current donors something really to connect to. That's great. Danny, how does that resonate with your approach? And are there any other important strategies for Broadway Care Equity Fights?
Yeah, it sounds like you're doing good work, and I appreciate your approach. Our Giving Tuesday and year-end campaign actually begins beforehand. In early November, we recruit ambassadors from within our community who want to get on board and champion Broadway Cares for Giving Tuesday and to bring folks in their network into our world through peer-to-peer fundraising. And then it kicks off actually before Giving Tuesday on Thanksgiving, because you can't ask for anything until you've said thank you first. So we say a heartfelt thank you and get people revved up, remind them tomorrow's Giving Tuesday, 2 days from now is Giving Tuesday, and then on Giving Tuesday, the army of champions and really beloved supporters in our community head out digitally into their worlds and try to solicit support. And it really galvanizes hundreds, thousands of folks right here in New York and across the country who build on the passion and enthusiasm of those that they love to want to learn about an organization that's important to my friend, my brother, my child. And then it continues on, as you said, with matching gifts. Matching gifts is everything. And that amplifies and accelerates the good that supports Broadway Cares and all organizations, and the encouragement and that we can give to folks to participate in taking the extra step and pursuing that matching gift can make all the difference.
It's true that really people's networks are almost as valuable as the dollar they can give these days, right? Because it gets your message out. And you all hit on kind of the three concepts, right? Time, talent, and treasure. It's not always just about treasure. It's about that time and talent that from your supporters as well that helps make that impact.
Yeah, I'll also add that the person focused within the stories on Giving Tuesday is so essential. And in our world this year, we're focusing on a wonderful actor in our community, Javier Munoz, who led the Broadway company of Hamilton and has a very personal story as an openly HIV positive New Yorker and Broadway actor, and with quite a history and present world of advocacy on behalf of his community.
It's great. That storytelling, again, it's so important. It's powerful. Well, let's talk about something else that's powerful, corporate nonprofit partnerships. And we know partnerships are so important to both companies and to nonprofits. So Dale, at Blackbaud, we are obviously passionate about nonprofit partnerships in relation to our own CSR programs. And additionally, given your role at the company, as you get to see a lot of different approaches across the sector. So from your perspective, what makes a corporate nonprofit partnership truly successful? And then how do you measure its impact?
Yeah, the thing about it is both nonprofits and purpose-driven companies want the same thing. They want measurable outcomes that make a difference. So that alignment is very, very helpful when we think about corporations coming together with nonprofits in our communities to do the amazing work that is done. What we find is the measurement piece is the part that can be a little more challenging. So a lot of the work that we have been doing is bringing tools and taking advantage of technology that we now have that we did not have many years ago that really help us answer that question of the impact that is being made by the investments in these partnerships between corporations and nonprofits. And I would say the one thing that works well is when we have mission alignment. When we can get mission alignment, and Jailan spoke to that earlier, it makes a huge difference when we know that the values of the company, the causes that the employees within a company care about, align well with the nonprofit community. Magic happens then, impact can happen, and that's when we truly make the world a better place.
Great, powerful. Danny, let's hear your perspective on this. How do these collaborations help amplify your mission?
Corporate partnerships are essential to our work at Broadway Cares, and what we try to do is create a holistic relationship. So that includes volunteerism, it includes event support, it includes individuals getting involved. And then there's something that's really unique to Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS that is taking the unique, wonderful collaboration that we have with the Broadway community and bringing that to our corporate partners to help them meet their goals so that we can fundraise and they can add a fabulous celebrity or performance element to a PR campaign, to a gala, to a leadership summit, whatever it might be, large and small. We galvanize talent and creativity to do good, but also to meet our corporate partners' goals.
Sounds like, and you have a lot of fun doing it too. I think
it's a heck of a lot of fun.
Yeah, that sounds great. Susan, how does Breakthrough T1D approach corporate partnerships, and what does an ideal partnership with a company look like for you?
Yeah, very similar to what's been shared up here. We're looking for mission alignment, and we're looking for values that are shared. And I go back to momentum. Done well, corporate partnerships can feel a lot like Giving Tuesday year round. We have that momentum of a shared strategy, a shared vision. We know that 1 in 31 families in America is affected by type 1 diabetes. So when we can bring corporate partnerships together through true mission alignment, we know that we can do more together. We know that we can bring that corporation with their culture, their brand, their values, with their voices and with their support, and pair it with our organization, our community, those who want to raise their voices to advocate for type 1 diabetes and to raise more funds to further research so that we can find the next life-changing breakthroughs together.
All about greater impact.
Yes.
Great. And Jailan, obviously Nasdaq has a lot of really strong partnerships with nonprofit partners. How do you measure the impact of those partnerships? And what is your advice for companies looking to build authentic, meaningful partnerships with nonprofits?
I think it's a mixture of what I've just heard here on this panel. I think in terms of the advice, I would say start with your purpose. Define as a company what your purpose is, and then what challenge is your company most uniquely positioned to address, and then find those partnerships that can really help you address that. So for ours, of course, it's about economic empowerment through access to capital and education, and we look for that with the partnerships that we create throughout the globe, and that's another piece of it. Is it regional? Is it global? We're a global company. We want to make sure that we are finding partnerships and working with amazing organizations wherever our employees are, so they can truly feel that they're having an impact in their communities as well as in the wider world at large. And I think some of that is key to what we look for. It goes beyond measurement. It goes beyond just the dollars raised. It's really, when we think about measurement, we're thinking about creating long-term programs that have more opportunities to have kind of long-term impact as well. Finding programs that really address what does our company excel at? What is our employee expertise? Financial literacy, and the program we have there is something we're all so proud of and that we all get behind, and matching it to it. And as Danny said, then finding opportunities throughout the year to have truly integrated campaigns, not just a giving campaign, not just a volunteering campaign, but moments where we can combine both of them, moments where we can also invite partners to come and speak to Nasdaq employees about the work they're doing, about the work we're doing together, and how they can get involved. So when we think about that, that's what we look for in partners. It's how we position our partnerships and our purpose work, and it's how we measure it too.
That's great. Yeah, I mean, what's really striking me through all of your responses is it's really about igniting the full ecosystem of good and generosity. Yeah. Well, let's close out our conversation with some discussion around the impact of technology. Dale, so what emerging technologies are you seeing shaping the future of philanthropy and corporate giving?
There's a lot going on right now with technology, and it is a fun time to be in philanthropy, utilizing some of the technology that's out there. Obviously, AI is big right now. AI is the most transformative technology that has happened in our lifetime, and probably that will happen in most of our lifetimes. And AI is amazing for so many reasons, but it strikes me as a great equalizer. Large nonprofits and smaller nonprofits alike benefit from AI. And AI is doing amazing things like helping us uncover information in our databases that as humans we may not have been able to find on our own. But then we have agentic AI. And agentic AI is really progressing to the point that it thinks like humans. It thinks like we do. So it has the ability to culture relationships with donors that you might not be able to get to on a day-to-day basis, to make asks, to do thank yous, to do some of the tasks that are helpful. And in corporate social responsibility, it can be super helpful in areas like volunteerism, coordinating some of the volunteer activities. AI is a great use case for those types of activities. And then the second one that I'll mention is one that we are very excited about at Blackbaud, and it's the idea of expedited giving. It's connected systems. It's the ecosystem that we were talking about that really finally lets us connect corporate philanthropy through our Your Cause platform to the nonprofit ecosystem through Razor's Edge and other products that we have in ways that we've not been able to do before. So whereas in the past, it may have taken weeks, if not months, for that support to make it to the nonprofits that are doing the amazing work that's happening in our communities, expedited giving from Blackbaud now reduces that time by 95%. So we can deliver support and deliver impact in lightning speed time. And we're excited about that. That's a technology that can be transformative in times of disaster, in times of great need, on GivingTuesday or any other time during the year.
Yeah, I'm really excited you brought that up, Susan. Actually, I'm gonna ask you about that because I know Breakthrough T1D was an early adopter for our expedited giving, and you saw some early success and promise. So talk to me about the impact of getting those funds so much more quickly and how that's having an impact on your mission.
Absolutely. Well, the impact on the mission is that those dollars go to work so much faster. And so that's really important. But it's also about the efficiency that we have to process gifts quickly, to put those dollars right to work. And then it comes down to communication because it allows us to thank our donors, to communicate, to show their impact. Just everything is on a faster track. And that means a big difference for our work.
Great. And Danny, I know that Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS was just recently enabled on expedited giving. So what impact do you anticipate getting when you're getting these donations so much faster from workplace giving programs?
We're living in a time where people expect things immediately, and that's a good thing in our world. Having this opportunity, thanks to Blackbaud, to be able to receive a donation and put it right to work, to deliver a meal, to get someone to a doctor, is extraordinary. It's life-saving. It's the reason that we do this work. So there's no drawback, and it allows us to get the help out there as quickly as possible.
So powerful. It's so powerful. And Jailan, you on your side, you're signed on from the company side. So you want to ensure that your employees' donations are getting to the nonprofits quicker. So why is that important to Nasdaq and to its employees? And how do you think that this might increase generosity in your workplace giving programs?
Speed to impact. Simple. I mean, you heard it from these guys. The quicker the money gets to the source, the quicker they can put it to use. It really is that simple. Speed to impact. And I think you're going to see it actually drive engagement and drive participation. When our employees know that their dollars are getting to the nonprofits they serve quicker, they're more likely to want to engage quicker and do more because action is going to get taken faster. And that's how you see real-time impact happening.
That's great. Yeah, you want, that ability to have people get involved in meaningful ways easily and actually see that impact quicker. I think that's going to be the game changer. So more impact. Thank you all. What a powerful conversation. I think we could have kept going. I just really appreciate your insight on the power of generosity, on the power of innovation, on the power of partnerships. Thank you each for being here, and thank you for the work that you're all doing to make the world a better place and have impact. So appreciate you, and good luck. Hope everybody has a wonderful Giving Tuesday.
Thank you.
Thank you.